Start big. Energy.
I think it's live right now, but it's lagging like it always does. Well, hello, guys, because I'm guessing it's probably live right now, but I can't see it. Okay, yeah, we're live. And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple Pod. We got a really good pre-show today. I'm bringing you a little value show on the difference between a wantrepreneur and an entrepreneur. Um, we're going to find there's a huge difference between the two. But everybody that's coming in right now, make sure you like the video on the way in, subscribe. Please hit that notification bell so you can be ready for every time we got a live show coming up. Check us out on the Instagram so you can go add me. And then also check us out on all the other live platforms, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, and YouTube. If you want to show support, you can do that by hitting the join button right under the video to become a YouTube member. That comes with some emojis for the show, and y'all can super chat in any of your questions that you got for me. We're also on all audio platforms as well, such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the fun part today. If anybody has any audio issues or anything, let me know right now, and I'll try to fix it since I'm producing today. Or I got a little helper. Thanks, shout out to Johnny for helping me out a little bit, but just let me know if there's any issues, guys. But yeah, to start off with the wantrepreneur versus entrepreneur, we're gonna talk about the what I find one of the biggest ones is a lack of awareness versus somebody that is fully aware, guys. A wantrepreneur completely lacks awareness to their own faults most of the time. It's the typical NPC person that's just going through the world, that's not really paying attention to anything, just going with the flow of life. If you're going to go with the flow of life, then you're probably going to be the type that you're just not paying attention to your faults, paying attention to the things that are making you worse than other people. And then you're not learning from yourself every time you need to be. I would say there's more people now than ever that lack self-awareness. And that's why there's so many people with cluster B disorders also. Cluster B disorders are actually a direct cause of people that have a lack of self-awareness of things about them, whether it's their faults or, just the type of people that they are to others around them. Somebody that is fully aware, like a real entrepreneur, they're going to be in a position where they're going to constantly be judging themselves. They're going to constantly be wondering if they're at fault, if they're the ones that caused the breakup, if they're the ones that were that made the mistake. That constant awareness of wanting to know if it's you or if it was somebody else, or constantly always taking the blame on yourself. That's somebody that's going to always be prepared to learn from their problems and always get better. This goes a lot back. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about today are really based around fear. To be fully aware means that you're not scared. You're not scared of what you truly are, who, like, the type of man that you really are, whether that's being lazy or whatever it is. That lack of self-awareness is really comforting, to be able to sit there and bask in a bathtub of just not knowing what's going on. Just ignorance is bliss, and it's not my fault, it's everybody else's. It's, the reason why I'm broke, it's because of the capitalistic system. It's all these elites. That's why I'm broke. The reason why I can't go to the gym, it's because it's just too far away and it's too expensive. Yeah, it definitely can't be anything like that.
He's a
uh,
brokey.
there's all types of excuses that you're going to make whenever you lack self-awareness. But when you're fully aware of your faults, you can't lie to yourself anymore. You're going to say, I'm not going to the gym because I'm a lazy piece of shit. You're going to say, you know what, I'm broke because I'm a lazy piece of shit and I don't know anything about anything in life. I don't have any goals of making more money or doing anything. And because of that, you're going to stay broke. Life is really awesome because it'll keep you in the lowest position until you learn, until you start taking that self accountability and you start having awareness of your true self. Yeah, you're never going to have to wake up to anything. But yeah, next up, guys, we got few skills versus many skills. Okay, a entrepreneur, guys, has usually a few skills. Like, when you really start digging deep with certain people that are entrepreneurs, you'll start figuring out they're only good at one, two, maybe three things. This is how I can tell somebody usually that's a entrepreneur from almost from the get-go. You just have one conversation, and if find out what they're good at, and it's kind of like a tit for tat. You just kind of bring up what you're good at, and they bring up what they're good at. Next thing you know, you'll find out this person doesn't have that many things that they're skilled at. They haven't won at a lot of things. They're not competitive. Uh, I always said, because some people would always say that. What do they always say? It's a jack of all trades, master of none. And I definitely have always disagreed with that my whole life. I think the guys that came up with that were probably blue collar workers from the past that were, say, really good plumbers and really good electricians, or just really good at certain careers. And yeah, like that, I give you pride, man. You're the best in your city at being a plumber. Like, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, those people were just kind of still average, normal NPC men. I mean, some of them might rise up to the ranks and become business owners one day and stuff like that. For the most part, it's a very basic mindset. And even the one that would become a business owner or something like that, he's going to have to pick up on other skills, whether networking with other people, or learning how to communicate better, or learning how to do taxes better, financials, just all types of things, bookkeeping. Like, he's gonna have to get good at other things for him to get good at owning a business one day. So anybody that ever tells you, jack of all trades, master of none, like those are just basic people. I'm telling you, those are people that are good at one or two things, and that's it. And that's why they're saying that. A true entrepreneur has multiple skills, multiple. I mean, don't get me wrong, they know that you can always pay to get something cheaper. Like, I'm not going to ever take away that a good entrepreneur is also really good at outsourcing. Very, very, very good at outsourcing. But at the end of the day, the reason why you're so good at outsourcing and making sure that you're having people that know what they're doing at those jobs and doing those things is because you have tried to learn so many different hustles, or you even try that hustle enough to understand it fully. And once you have it fully understood, that's how you know when other people aren't screwing you. If you don't know anything about tinning windows, how do you know that the tinning window guy is giving you a good commercial price? You don't. If you understood how easy it was to do it really quick, or you had some other people that showed you how to do it and they did it in 5 minutes, and they showed that the cost of the material was less than 25 cents and stuff, then you'd be like, oh, so I'm just paying for his time, basically. So you got to work out the math on all these type of things. And how do you work out the math on those type of things if you don't have any experience in it? You can't. It's not possible. And so at the end of the day, if you're wanting to be, or if a true entrepreneur, not a entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, you need to be prepared to be doing all types of skills. Learn everything. You should not be scared. Coding, oh, I got to figure it out. Guys, I had to figure out how to do some basic coding lately. I just did it. I was scared. Like, I was fucking, like, I actually had took classes on this in the past and just completely failed and sucked at it. And I told myself years ago, oh, I can never do that. I fucking started and I tried and I figured some shit out. Like, you can sometimes tell it's what's crazy is, as I get older, the more I have this mentality too, where like I can figure anything out. I'm not worried about any type of issues anymore. Anything. It's like, oh well, I guess I need to figure this out right now, because at the end of the day, guys, if you're a real entrepreneur, you're trying to build systems for things. And the only way to build systems for things is fully understanding those things and the systems behind it. You can't build a system for something if you don't fully understand every function of it. And I'm not saying that you need to be the best at it. You just need to be good enough at it to be able to teach somebody else to become the best at it, or to be able to hire somebody else that's the best at it. It's really not asking much just to get into something just a little bit. I always say, master of or jack of all trades, master of some. Okay, you're going to be the master of some things. You're not going to be amazing at all of it. You're not going to be the jack of all trades, but you will be the master of some of them. And that's what you need to focus on. It's not about being a master of all those skills. Hey, shout out to Live, Love, Plan, Pray. My favorite mob. How you doing, girl? But yeah. Also, guys, next up we got the entrepreneur is notorious for giving up, guys. All the time. You know that person that has given up so many times on so many different things. Like you see it all the time. Like, one week they have a t-shirt business, and the next week they're talking about building a website. Like, they're just all over the place. They don't have drive to just try one thing for a year or two. Guys, I used to be this guy. Like, I had so many ideas, and like I would hit really hard on one, And then I basically had a flame that would do so good. Like, guys, one of my first businesses, I was growing food. And whenever I was like, I worked for a big startup called Growtainer. Y'all can look it up. It's a really awesome company. And we were growing food inside of shipping containers. Okay. And whenever I was doing this, I was growing all this food, and I was my boss's right hand man. He told me, as long as you keep all this food growing like crazy like this, so we can keep showing off to investors and keep doing all this stuff, take it all, go sell it, like go do whatever you want. And so I did that. I went and I sold so much, guys. And then I went and I had so much money coming in at only 22 years old. I was doing so good at 22. I started instantly investing in more racks and more places to grow as much as I can. And I didn't realize that I was blowing up to a point trying to get all the market in Dallas, because I was going to all the fancy restaurants trying to sell them basil, lettuce, microgreens, all types of things, guys. And I realized that, like, I went way too big too early. This was when I was too young and I just didn't know. And I had so much invested in so many things, and then I wasn't able to make all that money back once I started losing restaurants. Once I started realizing that not everybody was going to want what I had. Only high caliber restaurants, super expensive ones, were going to want some of the things that I was producing, that was super high quality vegetables, especially like the hydroponic style that I was doing it and everything. It was something that not every restaurant was trying to afford or even buy. Um, so whenever I started learning this, I realized I went too deep into everything. It was already too late. It was like, well, I'm producing too much. I have too much going into this, and it's not making as much back as I thought. I went too deep, and then at that point, I was so frustrated with myself. I ended up getting into an argument with that boss because I thought I was the shit. I thought I was killing it in business, and I thought that I wasn't going to need anything with him, and ended up quitting that job like an idiot. And then next thing you know, going down a whole path of darkness, because I didn't keep the regular study thing going, and I also went all in on something that wasn't just for sure. It was just something that popped and had like a big flame at the start, had a lot of money at the start, but then it just slowly just started diminishing away, and I didn't know how to keep it up. I ended up having to just give up on it, guys. That's something that a lot of entrepreneurs are going to do throughout their life. I've given up on other things too. I even had a drop shipping store, guys. I'm trying to think what else. I even had a mattress business. I was doing mattresses for a good amount of time, probably about 3 years. I did mattresses before I had to give up on that. And the only reason I gave up on that one though was because I lost my plug on them here in Dallas. But otherwise, like there's a lot of times where you're going to be in your entrepreneurial journey, guys, where you're going to give up. Like, you're going to figure out that you didn't have all the knowledge that you thought you did. Like, you're going to realize you don't even have the taxes or the bookkeeping skills to be able to do it the correct way. I would say most of my fault until I was about 26, 27 was from just not doing the taxes all correctly. Not having a bookkeeper, not having a dedicated CPA that was really skilled at these things to help me out. You're not going to ever be able to do this stuff alone. Ever. And I'm going to say that one of the first thing that you're going to end up outsourcing as an entrepreneur, hands down, probably, is going to end up being your taxes one day. You're going to end up finding a really good CPA, and that's how you're going to be able to get your shit into the next order. And that's like the person that you kind of hire on and you trust. The first person that has access to your bank accounts, access to all types of things. Some like I trust my CPA with my life, guys. Like she's a huge deal to me, and she does a lot for me. And I honestly would not be where I am today if it wasn't for my CPA. It's going to be one of the first business partners y'all ever make, and y'all need to be very smart about the ones that you pick. It's a very big deal. Um, but yeah, so back to the give up versus like never give up thing. Guys, a entrepreneur, like, the reason why they give up, is because whenever you don't know, or whenever you're scared of what everybody thinks about you and stuff, you give up more often. But that real grit, of never giving up, that's the real entrepreneurial spirit. Um, those people, they just have such a grit that there's nothing that can stop them because they've seen something worse. Usually, you need to constantly put yourself into the trenches, put yourself through the fire, and by doing those things, putting yourself in the fire, in the trenches, you're going to experience such bad things that whenever you experience little things, they don't even affect you. You're going to end up experiencing a lot of bad stuff too. That's just it's little though. And you're going to realize, you know what, that's not as bad as what I went through 6 months ago whenever I was like in a really bad situation. You're going to learn that you're way stronger than you really are, and that all the things that make you strong actually come from you going through that fire. That's what's going to make you into the man that you, especially as a man today. you have to go through the trenches. I would say that there's not a level or way to get to success without becoming a trust fund baby, or without some type of really healthy mentorship that's direct from somebody from a young age. You're going to go through the trenches, guys. And it's a good thing. I always like to say that, there's two ways to go up. Either you're a middle class kid, which some of us from the 90s were, and you go down into the trenches. You go down into the lower class, and you experience so much middle class stuff, and maybe even a little bit of upper class, that you're gonna do anything once you're at the bottom to make it back up to the upper or to the middle again. Or if you're in the lower class, you need to experience the middle and upper in some way, shape, or form, whether that's through mentorships or working with people above you or something like that. But when you get a taste of that good life, when you get a taste of those supercars, when you get just to stay the night in those mansions a few times, those penthouses, that shit changes your life, guys. Once you get a taste of that sweet, sweet chocolate, you don't want anything else. One of the reasons why I have the drive and the grit that I have, guys, is I did another startup when I was around 26 years old. It was called Boss Trucks. Y'all can look this one up too. Shout to my old boss Kyle. He was a super cool guy. One of the greatest hustlers I ever met, and we were just modifying trucks. I got up all the way to operations manager, where I was just running the whole shop for him and everything. And oh, what was I getting to? I can't remember what I was talking about when it came to that. But no, whenever I was working for this guy though, and I started taking over everything for him, I started realizing that driving the supercars, staying in the mansion, like I stayed at his penthouse too sometimes, like just experiencing all those type of things really, really, really surprised me and made me realize that this is what I wanted for the rest of my life, was driving Porsches, driving Lamborghinis, having people look over at you whenever you're at a stoplight and be like, damn, why is that 20-year-old looking kid sitting in that car in that driver's seat? How did he get in that position? And obviously, I never deserved it back then, because I was just running his shop and I was just doing rental stuff for him, and I just was the guy that had to drive the cars around all the time and shit. And but I still felt that what it would feel like if I was that guy. And that feeling right there, guys, is something that every person needs to try to experience to make you want to go up to the upper echelon. I don't think that you can even fathom it until that happens to you. A lot of people would say don't do rental cars and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't think it is smart to buy expensive rental cars or anything like that. But if doing that one night, like for $1,000, whatever, feel it makes you get really inspired to want to go become the best that you can be, then do it. Like I really don't see why there's anything wrong with doing that. If you're gonna go on vacation, I was the type when I used to go on vacation, guys. If I was gonna go, I'm gonna get the dopest spot I can, and it's just all to inspire you guys. It's gonna make you work harder. You want to make that thing a regular thing, then you need to put yourself in that situation. But yeah, Don Juan with the $2. Thank you, bro. Step one: don't do foolish things like F and F. 1,000%, Don. Yeah, guys, y'all want to know a real funny thing? Like, I wasn't gonna talk about this, but yeah, y'all, the number one goofy thing you could do as an entrepreneur is sit there and do things that can get you kicked off of a platform that makes you millions of dollars, possibly a year, $2-3 million a year. Um, and then sit there and just act like you did nothing wrong, or like they're the ones in the wrong for doing it. Like it's really weird to play victim over something like that. It's just like Sneeko, honestly. Like whenever Sneeko got banned, it was just like, yeah, but why are you surprised? Like it's not the Matrix attacking you. It's like these platforms have advertisers, okay? Like these advertisers are very serious about what you say, and they're not going to push out your content if their advertisers don't want to advertise, or don't think it's good to advertise on that platform. So it's really just ignorant to sit there and try to play victim after something like that. We all saw it coming. If you didn't see it coming, like you're just lying to yourself. Like this is something. Even Fresh joked about it all the time. He always said, this isn't gonna last forever. Like, yeah, he wasn't lying. He even said it on the show. Like that, y'all want to know why Myron puts all of his money into his houses? Because he needed to ensure cash flow for just in case the show went down. Like, of course. Like, why would you not be? That's an intelligent man to make sure that if anything, because this is something that's risky, to still be okay afterwards. No, like they planned for this, and it's very intelligent to just at least plan around it. You can be Dan Penna, go to the dealership and just smell the leather. Yeah. I guess that does kind of work a little bit, but no, I don't know, man. I think driving the cars is really it. Like really getting in there, driving the car, feeling like it's yours. Like I said, pulling up to the stoplight and having those older people or younger people looking over at you and saying, "Damn, how did he get in that thing?" Even though, yeah, you didn't earn it, I'm telling you, it's going to give you a feeling of I'll do anything to get this feeling again, to be able to have this feeling every day. Every day I'll be in this car and people look at me like that. All right, but guys, next up I got over consuming versus over creating. Okay, a lot of y'all today are probably over consumers. I mean, anybody even watching this show right now, it's gonna suck to say this. Like you're probably somebody that consumes a lot. Um, but you need to swap it over to a type of person where you just create, create, create. Even the things that I'm saying right now, stand on the shoulders of giants. Take the shit that I say and find a way to say it better. Find a way to say everything that I do in such a better delivery, in such a better way that you can even do this, that you could start making content and creating things. Anybody can go viral today. I didn't know how easy it was to go viral, guys, until after I'd already sunk 50K into this damn studio. But honestly, y'all can do it for cheap, guys. You can go viral for real cheap if you know what you're doing. If you really, really, really try and you do your research and you get good at just making shorts and stuff, guys, you don't need a studio. You don't need all this fancy shit. There's people that were going viral like over the last year or two that were just doing videos just in front of themselves, and like that's it. It wasn't that big of a deal at all. Maybe try to do two different angles with two different phones, and it looks even more expensive. Like it's really that simple. Um, and becoming a creator is honestly, I really think in men and women together, this is a huge thing for both of us. Like we're both not meant to be consumers at all. Women are huge creators, whether that's creating and stuff like that, cooking. Like come on, like they're great at creating something out of nothing. And like as men, we're the same. We can literally take a pile of wood and bullshit and turn it into a building and stuff. Like we're supposed to be constantly creating. What sucks is that a lot of people go to work every day and they create a lot for a corporation. For people that don't care about you, like if you died, if you got fired, they wouldn't care. You'd be gone. And they come home and they don't create at all in their home, the place where it's gonna actually pay dividends. It's a sad reality because they got us in the workforce. Like everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off today with the economy how it is. This is guys, this is why we talk so much about relationships on this show and how to get them and how to make them the best possible for today, because you can't do this shit alone. Like we're talking about entrepreneurial stuff, like we're talking about that, but guys, at the end of the day, you can't do it without somebody else. And I'm telling you, a lot of y'all that are in relationships, sometimes it's your own fucking fault. Sometimes it's because you have things that you're not seeing in yourself that are faults. Don't get me wrong, guys. I know it's hard to find a good girl out here. I know. But I can't express to you how that when you're really that guy, it's like a magnet. Women come to you like crazy when you really are this a strong, confident, high self-esteem person. It's and like you're not stupid, guys. You'll learn just like I did really fast how to go get some girls, how to go meet people in real life. Once you start the entrepreneurial mindset, it changes everything for you. It's not just business, it's not just money, guys. This is something that's going to change your ability to talk to people and socialize in every type of group setting. This is going to help you make friends. That entrepreneurial mindset tells you to be friends with everyone, men and women. And the faster you get into that mindset, you start realizing how much money, guys, $1 million is on the other side of a million messages, whether that's to men or women. And each side needs value in some way. Sometimes you can only provide value to women by setting up modeling events or photo shoots or something like that. But sometimes you can also provide value to them, through friends, like experiences. Like you have friends that are going to the lake or going to do something, like, hey, we're going to do this fun thing. Like, let's go do this. Um, you can end up hooking up some of your friends with some of these people. Like this is how the world used to be, guys. We used to meet people through community. This is how everything used to be. It's only today where everything is so confusing because we don't have it set up that way anymore. Everybody's meeting through online. I actually tweeted something earlier. Like I really have a strong belief that men under 25, you're either addicted to playing video games or you're addicted to playing dating app games. You're gonna sit there on your phone like DMing girls and like swiping on a bunch of bitches playing. Like that's a game, man. That's all dopamine getting released right there. It's no different than the dopamine getting released from the guy playing the video game. They're both having immense dopamine releases from sitting on their couch. Immense dopamine releases, and both of them are not actually getting anywhere usually, unless you have some really good Tinder profile or something like that, you know. But we're saying the average guy here, guys, the video gamer ain't going nowhere, and like the guy sitting on dating apps isn't going anywhere, and it's probably gonna fuck his head up even more. Like seeing how all the women are and everything, it's gonna mess his head up even more sometimes. Nothing like the smell of a brand new car. No, it is true. Nothing better than saving for so long and buying that car cash. Yeah, that's another thing. What's crazy is this isn't something that isn't even talked about anymore because there's so few people that even have the money or could possibly even do something like that. It's very hard for people to even get enough money just to pay for something cash. But no, next up, guys, I got mental masturbation versus using or actually using these skills in real life. A lot of people today are mentally masturbating like crazy, guys, and these are the entrepreneurs. Y'all see them all the time. The guys have read 15 financial books and still got no finances. You know, like the people who got 10 relationship or dating or how women are books and they got no dates. This is the reality of today is people mentally masturbating quite regularly, you know, choosing to sit there and read and just research and understand stuff as much as their brain can, but without ever putting any of it into practice and actually going outside and using any of these tools. I would actually argue, guys, that they are doing the complete opposite of what they need to do. And it's what honestly a lot of autistic and Asperger's people do because it's easier for them to see things from a logical perspective, a logical singular perspective. It's hard for them to comprehend social situations and stuff like that sometimes. So I totally get why it works for a huge portion of the population, but for people that are really good socialized and stuff, dude, there's no excuse. Like, there's no excuse at all for you to sit there and mentally masturbate. You're going to gain all the skills from books, guys, in the real world if you go and you spent enough time in the real world and you did it correctly, like failing and, you know, learning lessons and doing everything like the correct way. If you do it all the correct way, guys, like the 48 Laws of Power, guys, before I read the 48 Laws of Power, you know, so many people told me so many crazy things about it. Like, oh my God, it's the greatest book of all time. You know, it's just so amazing. You know, like Robert Greene, blah, blah, blah. Guys, I thought that was the most mid book of my life. I'm dead ass. Like maybe if I would have read it whenever I was like 18, 19 or 20 or 21, like I would have loved it. But I swear on my mother, guys, like most of those things I learned by probably the age of 24, 25. Like and like and they were real rules in my life. I couldn't name them off in a book. Like I had never done what Robert Greene had done, where by categorizing it or not categorizing, but like, you know, making it into a perfect list and adding all to it and everything like that. But these are things that like I very much could go back to certain situations in my past where people did me wrong or certain things happened, and I taught myself a lesson. Like, oh, that's never going to happen to you again, Sergio, because look what happened when that happened. Never again. Never again. So it's like those laws of power, like I think it's great for you to go read that book. Especially amazing if you're a young guy and you read it. I bet that's like a great heads up, you know, to the world. But a lot of y'all, man, if you're reading that book in your 30s and 40s and you're going, oh my God, this is fucking crazy. This is like the greatest thing ever. I question how much you've lived, bro. I literally question how much trouble have you gone through in life. It's it's just privilege. And privilege is oh, it's disgusting. It's the worst thing that's ever come to America. It's the worst thing to ever come to anything in history. There's never been a time in history where privileges came into communities or came into countries and made them better. Privilege has always destroyed economies and destroyed people. It's not a good thing for any of us that life is getting easier and easier and easier and easier and easier, and we keep demanding for it to get easier and easier even more. Technology is going to end up being our death. I mean, a lot of people are going to be like the best and they're going to, you know, use the technology to make money off it. But a lot of y'all are going to sit there in your privilege and just bask in it. The thing is, guys, like I even came from like a really good background of privilege. That's why I understand it so well. Like like my dad was very, very successful, smart man. Like came from a good family. Like my Hispanic family used affirmative action to make sure to get lots of really good government contracts to be able to build lots of big military bases. You know, do all the electrical work for big government jobs, and they all did really good. And because of that, what happened to the generation under them, all the immigrants that did all that, they all were privileged and spoiled rotten. Like that privilege, it makes you lazy. It makes you way worse than what you could have been. I thank God every day for not only my father kicking me out at 18, but just like going back and forth between my parents' houses, like them both like never letting me be a little bitch. Like they would send me back between each house, like no, like he needs to fucking no, he needs to do this, he needs to do this. They were very much always about making sure that I never was a privileged little bitch. And it's just I had four sisters, so I think it's because they like saw my sisters and they were like, "Oh no, he's a boy. He can't act like we can't let him be like the girls." But there's definitely a lot of positives that come to getting rid of all your privileges in your life, guys. If you have a backbone that's your parents and you're thinking about their savings one day coming to save you, if you're not worried about buying a house because you know that your parents are going to give you a down payment for it after you get married or something, or you're not worried about a house because you know your parents are going to give you their house when they die. Um, all these things are privileges, guys. All of them. And like there's so many people that I know, especially from my generation, that like think like this because we come from a generation that was raised by the generation that just finessed everybody. That just has tons of money off of the 2010. I think about how many kids' parents made money off 2010 housing crisis or 2008 housing crisis, and their parents bought foreclosure in 2010. They came up big, you know, last 2 years or so, and maybe sold at the top. Those people are all like, I know tons of people in this situation. I have tons of friends from high school and stuff that were in these situations, and they're all just living cush little good lives. They're not worried about anything. They're not trying to be entrepreneurs. They're just happy with their little check, their $50,000 a year, and none of it matters because if they ever need help, mommy or daddy will help them. They know that they don't need to really worry about retirement because maybe they'll have their parents' retirement. All that privilege is literally the end of your soul if you're a man. And like I said, even women, y'all can create too. Like I really think that both can be very creative. Like I'm never gonna tell my girl she can't like gonna do something on the side, guys. Like she's not no boss babe or anything like that. But she likes to crochet. She likes to make jewelry. I've always made jewelry, but now she's lately been getting into jewelry. So it's just like let them create things. There's nothing wrong with creating something of value and then maybe wanting to sell it and stuff. Like my mom did that for years. Always had like a little shop where she sold stuff, and I think that's a great thing for people. Um, Next up, though, guys, is reactive versus active in life. Okay, so the entrepreneur is always really reactive to everything. Like whatever's going on, like it's not what they chose. Like they're not assertive in any of it. It's just going with the flow of shit. Oh, everybody else in the Bitcoin, I'm into Bitcoin. Okay, everybody else is doing this, I'm doing this. You know, it's just always just going with the flow of things. Whereas like a person who is a real entrepreneur, guys, is just constantly on it, active, always doing different things all the time. They're always on it. Yeah, sometimes I like to say like, you know, you either die or you don't. You know, it's just there's certain people that have a drive in their heart that is pushing them way more than a lot of other people. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows that person that is just pushing way harder than everybody else around them. Just has just such an immense like it's like what's wrong with you? Like what is going on in your life to make you try this hard? And it's some of them are just born with. I think that shit can be DNA sometimes. I think sometimes people get it from their parents. I know a lot of my drive, guys, comes from my parents. I know a lot of my ability to just not give up and be super active comes from having two really awesome fathers that were the exact same thing. They were super active men. They weren't scared of nothing. They like life didn't control them. They controlled it. Like my stepfather raced race cars, guys, modifieds. That shit was dope. He did drag racing. Like my dad was a DJ. Like I just had always had people around me that were just winning. And because of that, it just taught me that that's all that is life is winning, is being active, doing hobbies, winning at hobbies, being first place, fucking winning at business, making the most money. Like that's all I've seen, and that's what everybody. I think everybody needs to if you don't have that habit, you need to find mentors or find people above you that have that habit, that are just constant winners, just winning all day long. And if they're even if they're the type where they're not winning all the time, those people that are still losing, if they're learning from their losses, even those people are better to be around than somebody that's doing nothing, that's not active. I can't express to y'all how big of a deal just being active is. But hey, everybody that's coming in right now, please like the video. I need to make sure that we always do that. Um, Next up, I got fear versus no fear, guys. Obviously, somebody who is a entrepreneur is going to be really scared. They're going to be little babies about a lot of things. They're going to not want to try to do certain things because that might hurt or that might cost too much. Or what if that doesn't work out? They're constantly letting fear control them. And by letting fear control them, they actually never get anything done. In return, they're not active, as we were just saying a second ago. Like that fear is something that can really just hold you back and make it to where you can't. It's a what is the word? Can't think of it. Where you're just stagnant. It just makes it to where you can't do anything. Guys, like even Yoda would say this. You know, fear. I think he said like fear leads to shit. Johnny, do you know this one? How does he say it? Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to anger, and anger leads to suffering. So yeah, guys, just avoid your fear. As long as you completely avoid your fears and you just have this mentality of nothing fucking scares me in this world. There's not a single thing that can stop me. You know, and George Lucas, he was a huge fan of something called The Hero's Journey. It's my favorite book is a Warrior with a Thousand Faces. George Lucas loves that book. It was literally like his favorite book, and that's the whole reason why he wrote the original Star Wars movie, was all because of that book. Luke Skywalker's journey was just supposed to be the exact same journey of Jesus and all these other people from all the warriors of a thousand faces, the heroes of a thousand faces, and Luke was just a new hero, 1001. He was the 1001 face, and the whole point of that story, you know, like at one point, like Luke has to go into the cave, and that's the fear that you have to go up against. Everybody has a cave that you're scared to go into, and you have to go and face that fear. And when you go and face that fear, you're going to learn. You're going to learn a skill. You're going to learn something from that trial and tribulation that you're going to be able to bring back and not only change your lives, but change the lives of your people as well. That's what, like, honestly, like something that's really weird and scary about all this is that people don't even understand that you defeating your fears isn't for yourself. It's for everyone around you. Every time a man defeats their fears around them and becomes better and just keeps defeating fears, keeps just getting better and better and better. Guys, that's how we end up with the world we have now. That's how we end up with the world with our iPhones, with our technology, going to the fucking moon. That's where that comes from. People defeating their fears over and over and over and over and over and over. Fast, 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 fast. Life is a series of heroes' journeys over and over and over and over and over again. Very small, and some very big. Some huge. Some I'm going to a country where I don't know the language of anything, and I'm going by myself, and I'm just fucking winging it, you know? And there's gonna be a bunch of heroes' journeys while he's there. Like, oh shit, what does this mean? Oh shit, I gotta figure this out. Oh shit, I gotta figure this out. But then there's the big journey of going and then coming back safe and learning what you did and teaching those around you. Guys, this is true for every religious guru of all of history. Buddha, Jesus, Krishna. Like, guys, this is everything. This is the path of life. This is I can't express to y'all that everything that makes us who we are today and everything that's going to take us for the next 100 years into the future, it all starts with fear. All of it. And y'all could be the ones that are changing the world by just conquering your fears one step at a time. Please check out the book, though, by Joseph Campbell, Hero of a Thousand Faces, guys. It's by far the biggest thing that probably changed my life when I was a kid. All right, but next up on the entrepreneur versus entrepreneurs is the short-sighted versus long-sighted. Guys, entrepreneurs are going to constantly be really short-sighted people. Like, they're looking 1 year ahead, maybe 6 months, you know, like 3 months, 1 month, you know, a day, a week. You know, I just can't wait for this vacation. I can't wait to go on this vacation in a few weeks or in a few months. I can't wait. Guys, I don't even care about vacations at all. like at all. Like I'll take them for my daughter, but like I don't care. Like you need a vacation whenever you hate your own life. When you need a vacation from life, you should love your life so much you don't even need fucking vacations. People that need that shit are they're running from something. I can't imagine what it is. I think it's just running from the fact that you're living just in the moment. You have nothing further than just 6 months out in your life. You have nothing further than that trip a year away. People like me are thinking about a 401k that's fucking 35 years away from me. I'm thinking about shit 35, 36 years away from me. I don't care about any of this any of this type of stuff that's in a year or 6 months. That doesn't do anything. That's not going to change my life. That's not going to change my family's life. That's not going to do anything that I want. Anything that I really want is 5 years away, is 10 years away, is 20 years away. If y'all are thinking short-sighted, you're a entrepreneur. You're wanting like you're just trying to do it just to get the Lambo. It's not going to work that way. Don't get me wrong, there's some people who do it just to get the Lambo and they probably get it. But I'm telling you guys, the more you plan super far into the future, the more your brain works out those type of problems and figures out how to get to it. If you're thinking only short-sighted, your brain is only going to solve short-sighted issues. The long-sighted issues are the ones that end up giving you funds, that end up helping you to do the things to get to it. Like all those short-sighted things are going to make you broke. They're going to make it to where you're not able to really focus on the thing that, like all my business guys, everything that I do, I'm looking 10 years ahead. This podcast, everything. It's not something that's just right now that I just got in. I was like, oh yeah, let's try it out if it works out for a year. No, this is a 10, 20-year plan. This is the beginning of something very long. And any business you do, you should have that mindset. You should have the mindset of what this thing that I'm inventing or this thing that I'm doing is going to do amazing in just a few years or in 5 years or 10. It's going to do okay right now. It's going to do better in 2 to 3 years, but it's going to do amazing in 5 years. It's going to do amazing in 10 years. Guys, one of the big reasons why I started this podcast was because AMS always says one of my favorite quotes. He always says, "We all go purple pill in the end." Because at the end of the day, most of y'all, grand fucking majority, are going to end up in relationships one day. One day. And when you do, you're going to need to know how to do it. You're going to need to have full understanding of relationships. And that's why I do this show. Because y'all are going to go that direction no matter what. I'm thinking 10, 20 years ahead. I know that there's a lot of crazy feminists right now. I know there's a lot of crazy red pill incels right now. But that doesn't mean that in 5, 10 years, shit's not going to change. And that we can't bet on it. That we can't try to make moves to help those people. And guys, we know the financial system's going to get worse. It's going to get way worse. You have no idea how bad it can get. And if inflation's at where it's at right now and food costs, y'all have no idea how bad it's going to get. One of the biggest reasons we're pushing y'all together is because you're not going to be able to survive by yourself. Trust me, the powers that be would love for y'all to live by yourself and sleep in a capsule like they have in Japan right now. Literally have one of those little hotels where it's just a bunch of capsules. They would love for y'all to be so happy with just your phone and video games and being single that y'all can live in those and be perfect little drone slaves every day, doing exactly what they say. They would love that, guys. Y'all really have no idea how much they're so excited over the next 20 years of turning y'all into little single robots that they can control individually easily. Y'all need to wake up to the real picture going on here. Hey, shout out to Shannon Rawls. What's going on? Please, everybody, hit that like button. Yes, dude. Thank you so much, Shannon. I appreciate you, bro. How? I don't know if y'all were on King Talk last night. I was gonna maybe come on, but I had to. I didn't come on at the last minute. But no, like that's dope. Thank you for coming on, bro. Bang Tango, what did you say? Also, I'm thinking 2 days ahead because S&P options expire three times a week. Yeah, 2 days ahead. Are you playing? Are you playing options right now, Bang Tango? This is not a good time. What's volatility at right now? If it just depends. And are you selling or are you buying, brother? Um. Next up, guys, we got negative versus positive. Okay, so obviously, a entrepreneur is gonna be negative all the damn time. I would be negative too all the time if I was constantly giving up and just failing on things all the time, and just not learning from any of my mistakes. I would probably be a really negative person. Like, it sounds very natural actually to be hyper negative all the time because you're not doing what you're meant to do in your purpose. You're triple leveraged. You're ridiculous, Bang Tango. Chill the fuck out, man. It's not a good time to be. I don't know, man. I'm not trusting the economy right now. I mean, I'm sure the VIX is high, but like I would still be. I'd be. Or I don't even think it was high. Last time I checked, it wasn't that high, bro. So I don't know. I'd just be careful if I were you. Don't be picking up pennies in front of a fucking train. But no, but yeah, they're always gonna be negative, guys. They're always gonna be super, super negative, and I'm just really, really, really. That's why you stay away from negative people, especially if they're entrepreneur and they're negative all the time. Oh my goodness, just avoid them constantly, guys. Avoid them constantly. If they're a real entrepreneur, they're gonna constantly be in a positive state. Even when they're taking L's, they're positive. They're gonna be like, "Oh, that shit just happened." You're gonna see a smile on his face right afterwards. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, fuck it. All right, next up, like, so how are we gonna fix this? Like, what are we gonna do?" Because whenever you're a true entrepreneur, you don't have time to sit there and be negative. You literally have zero time to be negative. If you're gonna sit there and cry about your issues and whine about how hard things are or anything like that, you're gonna just hurt yourself. There's nothing that you're doing other than wasting your own time, sitting in pity. I would honestly say that if you're constantly positive, just being Christ-like, just constantly giving, just constantly wanting to learn, just being a really positive human being, you're gonna become one of the best entrepreneurs in the world just because you're not letting anything hang you back. You're not gonna let anything get in your way. There's not one problem that's gonna stop you. Bank Tango, what are you saying? I win if it goes up and I win if it goes down. Oh, you're doing a straddle, riding that 25 fluctuation, yeah. 2%. Yeah, dude, that's still picking up pennies. It's always, bro, selling, like, trust me, I sold a lot, and it's almost not always worth it. I've even just started lately, even just being like, I'm just going all in on S&P as much as I can, man. Just 401k, IRA, HSA, like all the fucking way, because it's just, this economy is so weird right now. Like, we really don't know what's gonna come. Oh, like, what worries me, Bang Tango, is just like one big, when it comes to doing the options. Like, right now, I just feel like we're always at the brink of like some crazy war, some stupid shit happening. So it's just like I'd rather just stay steady and just do the long game. And but no, I totally understand why you're doing it. I'm sure you're having fun while you're doing it. I like to say it's white collar gambling, bro, because it's just like blackjack. You're 51% or you're the 49%, depending on if you're selling or buying. And instead of going all the way to the casino in Vegas, you can just gamble from your computer. Actually, you can gamble from your phone now. Shout out to Weeble. Um, yeah, and then honestly, you can gamble for really cheap too. Anybody that wants to learn, no, I'm not going to teach this because I'm not going to give out bad info. I don't want people to go learn options and then get addicted to that shit. But there is easy ways to trade the S&P 500 on Weeble now for really cheap if you don't even have enough to buy a full. Uh, let's see, scared of risk versus takes risk, guys. So the entrepreneur is always going to be very scared of taking risks. Shout out to Bang Tango. He's not scared of taking risks. That's why he's doing options trading. He's not a little bitch. So I'm sure he's pretty much like a real entrepreneur. It's not gambling. It's renting money stocks. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Are you doing, like, you should do the wheel strategy though, Bang? Like, don't get me wrong, it's good to like straddle and do both and stuff, but like, the wheel strategy is honestly the best. If I ever do go back to it, it's always wheel. Like, it's never going to be anything other than the wheel. And then once you start a wheel, you're not stopping for a while. Like, you're about to be working for a long time, for months, year. So to me, it's just something. It's a commitment. Like, if I'm gonna get into it, I'm gonna get into it, and I'm gonna be in it for a fucking long ass time because of how the wheel strategy works. Um, but yeah, scared. So like, anybody that is an entrepreneur, guys, they're constantly gonna be scared of taking risks. Um, I don't even like being around people that are scared of taking risks. Oh, you always do wheel. No, nice, bro. You're smart then. No, I honestly hate being around people, guys, who can't take risks. Like, it's just like, since my whole life has been a risk. Like, my shout out to not doing options risks, but other things that I risk myself in. Like, I always say, guys, you should always invest in. You can invest all the way in something as long as it's in yourself. So like, I wouldn't say to like do an option trade, like what Bango Tango is saying, and then say put your whole bag into it, like your whole fucking savings or something, because that, you don't, like, you can't know what the market's gonna do. It could go up, it could go down. Like you can't predict, you can't control that. But say you fully invest in yourself, you fully take a giant risk in yourself in a business that is all relying on you and your ability to do it. Oh, you could do that. If you do that, then you're gonna do whatever it takes, and you can't blame anybody at the end of the day for failure. It's all on you. So like I honestly think guys that the greatest people to be around sometimes are those people that are not scared at taking any risk, going all in on themselves. There's nothing like more that I want to work with or that I want to be around than people like that. Uh and so uh sorry, I got distracted guys because one of the girls told me she's already here early. I don't want these girls getting here early. But no, also guys, just make sure that yeah, you're just taking risks. I don't want you to be the Uber's traffic is death right now. Man, stop texting me, girls. But no, also guys, for the next one, there's judges self versus forgives themselves. So, guys, a person who's a entrepreneur is constantly judging themselves, constantly like, "Oh, am I not good enough at this? Oh, can I do this? I don't think I'm good enough. Maybe I'm not smart enough, or I don't think I'll be able to learn that because that's really hard." This is all like really, 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 really entrepreneur type talks. Anybody that is really, really entrepreneur, they're going to constantly forgive themselves and never be scared of any of those type of things. They're not going to judge themselves for anything. Every failure, they're going to be like, "It's okay, Sergio. You're gonna get the next one. It's okay, buddy. Like you're not gonna let that happen again, are you? You're just gonna pat yourself on the back and say it's all right because you tried. At least you're not like those other people that didn't even try at all. A lot of y'all are gonna have a hard time forgiving yourself, and maybe it's because you don't forgive others well either. Practice right there. Practice forgiving others. You know, even if like you have trauma, I still believe, guys, that a lot of y'all that have trauma in your life, it goes back to forgiving your mother and your father and yourself. So sometimes starting just right there makes it to where you can get on a snowballing effect of constantly forgiving yourself and never judging yourself again. And getting on that constant jump of always forgiving yourself for your faults and getting better and better and better, that's what's gonna make you better. Guys, I came from a fucking perfect family, okay? Like, I'm serious. Like, my sisters, like, my parents, like, we're talking like a bunch of fucking tryhards that just literally do anything to be better than every other family and every other people in the world. Like, that's just what I come from. And my whole life, I was constantly judged. Like, constantly judged for not being up to a par and not being able to do something like that. You know, I really hated it for years of my life. Like I hated it having sisters that were going through college and doing so good and doing all these things, and I was this failure. I was this person. I couldn't fucking go to college. I failed at businesses. You know, it's just like I constantly put myself down until I got to a point where I was so far down. I had to forgive myself, guys. I had to forgive my family too, though. Like I had to forgive everybody around me and understand that they just wanted the best out of me. The reason why they thought all that and they wanted so much better for me is because they saw better in me. They saw that I could have been incredible, and the second I was able to forgive them was the second I forgave myself, and I was able to actually go out there and do stuff for myself and not judge myself anymore and not sit there and be scared. I remember when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, guys, and I used to tell everybody around me, like, guys, like, it's not bad to fail, like failure is just, it's a way to like learn new things. Like I remember the video that I watched that changed my life, guys. It was Zeitgeist when I was 15 years old, and at one point in that video, he shows and he's like, being wrong isn't bad. To be proven wrong is just a time whenever you get to learn the truth and bring yourself up to a higher level of understanding. And that shit just changed my life, guys. Just being able to just understand that failure is always going to be there. Like you may never ever be good at things. And guys, I knew, like I said, I watched this video when I was 15, and I ran with that idea of it's okay to fail. I failed a lot, guys. I've gone to jail. Like I've been caught up in a lot of bad shit before. Been in lots of fights, lost lots of fights, lost lots of girls. Uh, and all those failures, I never saw them as a bad thing. Like every time I always tried to see the positive in them. I always tried to forgive myself because I knew that at the end of the day, I was going to learn something that nobody else was going to be able to have. I was going to have knowledge that there's not another person that would be able to copy, because nobody lives a unique life like yours. Everybody's different, and somebody might be going through the same issues as you. And since you solved those issues, you'll be able to solve them for them. Spies are already diversified and they always get bailed out, so the risk is low. Yeah, that is true, bro. It's always good for you to play with that. Real spill. No, shout out to you, Joe. Free supper. Never seen you before, man. Thank you for coming though. Next up, guys. Uh, entrepreneur has winning goals, and a entrepreneur has learning goals, guys. Just like what I was just talking about. Okay, so the entrepreneur is going to constantly be thinking about the W. He's going to constantly be thinking about the wins, like the Lambo, getting first place. Guys, I won multiple paintball tournaments, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is good to visualize the win. I would definitely go into those tournaments saying all these fuckers suck. We're about to smash everyone. I'm about to shoot everybody here. I'm going to shoot them so much they want to walk off this field and not get back on it. Like, don't get me wrong. You need to have that winning mentality for sure. But if you don't have a mentality of when you do lose, that I'm going to learn from this, it is more detrimental than anything. There's plenty of times, guys, because paintball is a very harsh sport when it comes to, like, when you lose a round, you lose a round. When you get ran down into the snake and you get shot 12 times within 1 foot of you, across your hands, your neck, and your face, top of your head, you very quickly say, why did that happen? Where did I mess up? Could I have popped out and got him here? Could I have done this instead? Like the reason why I had that winning mentality was probably because I also had to have a very learning mentality too in the middle of those matches. But I think the winning mentality here, though, is more like the people that are super short-sighted. Like, they see the Lambo and they're like, I'll just do anything to get the Lambo. I'm going to start this shirt business. I'm going to start this, and I'm going to have my Lambo in 5 years. It's just more along with the short-sightedness, guys. I think anybody that is just going into anything, just understanding that you might lose, but you're going to learn from it, then you're going to be totally fine. As long as you know that this is a learning, I'm going to this place to do this. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to go to this conference or whatever, and I'm doing this to learn. I'm not doing this to win anything. I'm not doing this to be the top or anything like that. I'm going to just humble myself and possibly get my ass kicked. Guys, I'm about to start boxing probably soon. Shout out to Johnny. And guys, I'm going to have to go in there knowing damn well I got to learn. I'm about to get my ass kicked. There's no winning right here. There's no winning mentality I'm going to be having. It's going to be a constant learning mentality. And going into new things and having that constant learning mentality, that is what's going to separate you from a wantrepreneur and an entrepreneur. Next up, for my last one, guys, my favorite, it is a non-scientist versus a scientist that wants to test things. Okay, so guys, the person who is a entrepreneur is not a scientific minded person at all. They don't care about wanting to try different new ideas, test them out, see if they work, and then retry them again if they don't work, and then constantly as a scientist redevelop and reinvent until you create something that is something that you created yourself. And honestly, that's one of the biggest detriments to being an entrepreneur versus an entrepreneur. I would say the greatest entrepreneurs in the world are low-key scientists, complete scientists, going through the scientific method way more than you will ever do. They will go through, or you normal people, my bad. They will go through the scientific method over and over and over and over again on certain products until they're the best product possible. They will go through the scientific method and just even trying to figure out how to do a sale the best way. People who are scientific minded and constantly trying to just use hypotheses, develop different hypotheses that compete with it, constantly just using different, having somebody else test your hypothesis to see if their scientific method is the same as your scientific method. I can't express to y'all how that, like, we are not inventing things today. Like, we don't have, amazing scientists and, all these people inventing stuff like we were for the last 400 or 500 years, because there was just so much enlightenment. There's just so much stuff that needed to be made and created, and there's so many smart people just doing it. Now we don't have a lot of technology and stuff to create, and there are special people that are doing those things, engineers and stuff, but for the most part we still have this need to want to create something. We may not be inventing a bunch of different electronic things and all these different things that would be inventions, but we are inventing ideas. We are inventing courses to help people. We are inventing, new philosophies, like, and all those things, all those businesses, even products. Think about supplements that people are taking now today. Just all those things. Those are all inventions. They're all scientific inventions that were all created, and we need to all have that childlike mind of constantly wanting to be a scientist, constantly wanting to test hypotheses, constantly wanting to figure out, oh, let's see if this ad works this way or this ad works better doing this way. Like the second you sit there and you try to not be a scientist, or you think it's dorky to be a scientist and test things, and as long as you're not talking like actually, as long as you're not being a gamma male, shout out to the red pill space.
What?
As long as you're not doing any of
What are
those
you
things.
talking about, man?
As long as you're not doing any of those things, guys, then you can do it. There's nothing wrong with being a scientist. Everybody needs, we need to bring back being a nerd is fucking cool, guys. There's nothing wrong. It's just, it's how you hold yourself. If you want to fucking look like a geek and like have glasses and fucking sound stupid and shit, then yeah, you could do that. But put some riz behind it, man. There's too much technology out here today. There's too much info out here today with the internet and stuff for there to be a bunch of really smart motherfuckers out here and you look stupid at the same time. Nah, bro, you can be intelligent as fuck. You could be literally so smart, know about space, know about inventions, know about all these different things, and also be an attractive guy. It's absolutely possible. And I think that's just what if you want to be a true entrepreneur, y'all should all be striving to be that. Be that dorky, be that scientist. I'm telling you, it's going to end up working out in the end if you do it. But yeah, Bang Tango, talk about the digital economy and opportunities. Oh man, so I'm going to have to do a whole episode to do. You just kind of reminded me. I need to do a good one on AI. Bang Tango. I'll probably try to do one on Friday or next week, and I'll do one that's on digital economy and opportunities, like how to make money online and stuff. Because I've been doing a lot of stuff with AI. I think I'll be able to like do a really good episode on shit like that, and different opportunities right now because of AI. And it'll tie perfectly in with the scientist stuff. $2 from Identity Room. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm burping a lot, guys. I got like air in my fucking stomach. I ate a big lunch. Thank you so much, dude. Paying dues. Nah, man. Thank you, bro. Nerds make all the money. Yeah, they do, dude. Nobody wants to say it, but it's the truth. There also are some guys that aren't nerds that end up making a lot of money, but they definitely use like their physical look to be able to get respect from people. I truly believe, guys, you can get respect two different ways. You can get it either by your physical looks, or you can get it for your brain. There are some people that hear how some people talk, and they're just like that. Like, guys, look at Gandhi. Look at Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, these guys weren't hitting the gym. They weren't hitting new PRs every fucking week. So like, it's really, you gotta understand, there's definitely like high value men that don't go to the gym or like weren't big strong men or something like that. Your mind is a big deal for sure. I just saw a guy in an retirement plan with ChatGPT. Yeah, no, you can definitely do that. No, I've been doing all types of shit with ChatGPT, bro. I've been helping people with their resumes and all types of stuff. If anybody ever needs help with any of that stuff, actually, please, if you ever need help just getting a new job, DM me on Instagram. I will help anybody in getting a new job. It's something I'm very good at helping people do. If you're just trying to do anything like that. But yeah, guys, we're gonna close it up. I got other girls that are showing up right now because it's 6:15. We gotta do a show here in like less than an hour. But yeah, I appreciate all y'all for coming, man. I will see y'all here in just a little bit. Bango Tango, Identity Room, Free Supper. I appreciate y'all.
Like the video.
Yeah, like the video, please, on y'all's way out, guys. I'll see y'all later.
Thank you,
Peace
guys.
out.